We're live again. Hooray. And look who's back from down under.
Guess who's back? From down under.
That's awesome. And we're up to 4 viewers. That's great. Yeah. So let's just cut to the chase. Where the hell you been at, Matt?
Plenty going on. You know, life's just gotten away the last few weeks. So yeah, just haven't really had much time for anything. Been a bit crook, you know, and but now hopefully starting to get back on track.
Fantastic.
How are you guys traveling?
I'll go last, Jeremy. Go ahead. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, well, welcome back, Matt. It's nice to have you back. I know everyone missed you and your shirts, so I know people will be happy.
Paige will be excited to see.
Yeah,
I missed out on a meme where he actually included everyone.
Except for you, because you
that
were
was
here.
Your one shot. Your one shot to get a meme, and you missed it.
Yeah,
so.
you missed it. You missed it.
Mm-hmm. But you know, just pack on that extra Vegemite. You know, you'll make it through. You'll make it through somehow.
Yeah. I've been tournaments like up the butt. There's way more coming too. So we got a tournament every little while.
That time of year, right? Just
that time of year and
busy.
We're gonna touch on some of that. I think later on, if we get some time, we maybe touch on some tips for traveling to tournaments where it's not the town over, where you're driving like 3 or 4 states across 8, 9, 10 hours. You know,
you got to go a little ways. Yeah.
There's some tips there, but well, let's get hobby wise, Matt. Surely you painted in your deplorable state. You were like, oh man, I can't. Like I feel terrible, but I can paint. I can build bases.
I have done a base. I posted it in Jeremy's thread.
It's sweet with the bridge.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I wondered, did you actually do that? That's why I'm curious.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Did the resin water underneath? Did the rocks, and so the bridge is 3D printed and painted. I painted the bridge a while ago, and I managed to get the base done. And my child labor has been working hard, and my halfling mega army box is completely assembled.
And look, our buddy Billy
and undercoated.
The stream is not the same without you, Matt. So your adoring audience has been waiting for a good
Thank you, Billy. I knew there was a reason to get back on here.
Exactly.
But yeah, so ready because we're starting June 1, right? With our Mantic Army Challenge.
And we've got to schedule an episode where we can record our thoughts and get ready for that. Yeah, because I'm chomping at the bit to paint something different than ogres.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you've painted all the filth you can, right, for ogres?
It turns out. So I'm riding home yesterday. We'll get to this, but I'm riding home yesterday, and I realized I could take 6 hordes. I mean, but it's a long fishing return, I think, at that point. So I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I'm working on my bug eater list, and it's nasty. And so we'll come to that. Jeremy, what you been up to? You've been painting away.
Yeah, lots of painting. I finished my first test model for my impalers, which I had done a little bit more work on it than when I showed you guys. So that unit is now all working on mass producing. I spent some more time on my Lafayelle's almost done. So I'm kind of trying to get at least 1 or 2 done of everything so that I can go full blown into assembly line if I can do it. And then I got my all my firefight stuff in. I'll be doing if the EO Dust refresh has not happened by June 1st yet, I'm going to start with firefight. So I'll still be painting Mantic models, but I'll just be doing the firefight stuff in lieu of until the EOD refresh comes out. Because it's hard because I don't know for sure yet what's coming out. No inside baseball here, so it's like I could paint something that's not being redone, but I don't know yet what's getting redone. That's like the surface. The real world is that I just want to have an excuse to paint firefight models. So that's Tyler got his drug. He mainlined it into me. You know, he's just like, try this.
Because we got teased about the EOD refresh quite a while ago, didn't we? Now.
Yeah, and everything I've heard is this summer, but I just don't know exactly when that's gonna materialize. But I got my stuff from Chris Fisher at Troll Horde Games. He's got a bunch of Mantic stuff that if you're a friendly local game store is not carrying it, but you still want to buy from one within the United States, he's gotten all the stuff and has a little discount. So I picked up the starter bundle and then one extra army force. So I have 3 armies. So
yeah,
because I paint them so fast I have to buy them in multiple.
And that Facebook user was Mike Painter, who's from Queensland in Australia, talking about Firefight. Yeah.
Who is speaking of Australia? Do you know who Creaky Gamers is?
No.
It's a YouTube channel. They do battle reports, and it's Australia.
Right.
They do a lot of battle reports.
Right. No, I haven't heard
Kings
of
of War.
Yeah, Kings of War. They do tons of Kings of War battle reports.
Oh, hold on. That's not Keith.
Reports.
That's not Keith who's posting to Fanatics a bit. Did they do the Halfling Shires campaign?
I believe that might have been them.
I'm gonna look it up while we're talking.
Look up under YouTube. It's Creaky, like Creaky.
Okay. Hey Rob, do you want to bring up a picture of my base? I'm pretty proud of that actually. It's my favorite base. I have to admit with the base I was kind of going for. I want to fill this base so I can go rule of cool and put less models on it.
Well, that just makes sense. Yeah, that just makes sense.
Let's look. I found Creaky Gamers.
Yeah.
They've got a solid amount of subscribers, 1.37K
like
subscribers.
They do a lot of. They make a lot of content.
Yeah, why have we not seen this?
I don't know. They're from your neck of the woods, so I think they did a tournament report for like a tournament for the Clash of Kings. Maybe you might know who they are. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. So this is a bloke by the name of Keith Williamson.
Okay.
So who is an exceptionally good gamer. He won but I've never met him in the flesh because he dropped out of the scene for a while. He was in it. All I know is that he's not a big fan of things like rankings and masters and stuff like that. His personal belief is it's not good for the system.
Sure.
But he's despite that he's used to play a lot against Tracy. I'm not sure if he still does.
Okay, you know why? Because I was like, one of the guys on this sounds exactly like Jeff Trace.
Yeah, right. Maybe he has been on there.
So maybe he has been on there because I was like, that sure sound. But I don't want to be like all Australians sound the same to me. I don't want to be that guy. So I didn't want to say.
But you are
this is like one of the 5 that I know. But I know.
That's funny.
Yeah. But so I'm super excited by Firefight. If you're looking and you haven't taken a look at that game, make sure. To me, it feels like exactly why I love Kings of War, which they took Warhammer Fantasy and made the version of it that I would want to play, and that's what I feel like 40K and Firefight is, which is they took what I love from Dead Zone and what I love from Kings and like put it in the same game. So
which is what I wish Vanguard would have been.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Firefight if you're interested in that style, that genre of game.
Are you interested, Rob? Have you got in on Firefight?
Actually, So I actually, before we get to that, I did. I ordered the GPCS starter, and then like the book and the dice pack. So I was strong armed into it, though. So
were you?
I'll plead the fifth. I'll be I'll be putting it together at some point when we get it. My problem is there's so many damn games at this point. I hope it's really good because there's just so much, not enough time, right? I've been playing, and it's really this asshole's fault right here. He's like, the shop isn't going to stock it, so if you want an order, you need to place it today. I'm like, you son of a bitch. But yeah, but I mean, with Legion and Armada and fingers crossed.
They add up, right?
So I hope this is like my sci-fi go-to.
I read the rules. It's good. I like it.
So if you enjoy Firefight, Rob, would it replace something for you?
Yeah, I mean, it might replace. Well, Legion is pretty fun in the sense that I like playing Star Wars models, I don't play it hardly ever, so it probably replace that.
Right.
But time is. We're going to talk about this. Time is, the older I get, the less time I have, which is weird. It should be the other way around. Like I should have more free time. But man, I am just like. We talked about this, Jeremy. Like it feels like even though I may not be playing 100 million games of Kings of War a year, like I am doing Kings of War stuff all the freaking time.
Yeah.
Probably like 8 hours a day I'm doing something Kings of War related. It's like whether it's like prepping for a tournament or getting ready to go to a tournament. So let's show off this sweet base, because at first I said certainly there is no way that our own Matt pulled this off.
But then you saw the errors in it?
No. Then I said, well, wait a minute. Is that a piece of like plexiglass under the bridge instead of pouring actual resin? And like, did he like just get it? Because that would be smart too, right? Just cut a piece of plexiglass, it's tinted blue, and drop it down, and then Would you poured that?
I poured that. Yep. So what I did, I covered the base first in the Vallejo texture stuff. Yep, I think coarse base or something.
Yeah.
And then I painted it like sand. Then I used plastic that I sealed with glue, although it still didn't seal that well. It still leaked a bit, to confine where I wanted the water to be. Did the water with a 2-part resin and a few drops of blue, and then did the rocks and the grass around it, and then put the bridge on top. So the bridge doesn't quite sit on the water. You can't tell from that angle, and you can't really tell unless you get right down to eye level. So I was okay with that.
What you could do? Oh, and then me and Rob were like, what you could do?
Water effects around where it hits the water, and then
exactly,
it like splashes up. You wouldn't
put like a little foam.
Oh, yeah.
You could do like a little foam around the little pylons. It looks like the water go by.
I could do that. Yeah, absolutely. So the plan will be swordsman. Yeah, good. This is going to be probably a horde of the Paladin Monster Slayers from Brother Mark. So swordsman along the bridge and the grass, and I think it'll still probably fit MMC. I reckon there'll be 2021 models on there.
Can I ask you a question?
You may.
The one I'm going to give you the hand pets first and say I absolutely love
the other hand.
Yeah, I absolutely love the color of the water, because it's not too dark. It's not too green. It's almost like a tropical, magical, like how I imagine elf water would be, which was like beautiful,
magical
Bahama Mama water. Mm-hmm. So fantastic. And now the other hand goes. I'm just kidding. I love your bases, but the not painting the rocks? Is that like a style choice you make, or?
That's natural rock. That's real rock.
But why don't you got to prime
Chris
it
Cox is on the show. The rocks. We need to get Chris Cox back.
Yeah. No. So I don't paint the rocks at all. That's their natural colors. Yeah. So they're like aquarium rocks.
Okay. I just think sometimes.
So what Jeremy? Let me jump in. What Jeremy's trying to say is that he thinks you should paint the rocks because they.
I'm getting that. They don't look real enough.
Yeah. No, they look. See, that's the thing. You take a rock and put it on the battlefield, and it doesn't look right. You take a rock, you prime it, and then you dry brush it, and then it looks like a rock. So that's probably just the old school in me. But that like small thing aside, it looks fantastic. Like I love your dynamic placing of the bridge, that it's sort of slightly slanted going across as opposed to just completely 90 degree. I mean, so you have a lot of really nice eye-catching bits here.
I'll take that feedback. Thanks. And that was saying howdy was our friend Jefferson J.
And not to say as I cup the stepchildren, not to say it isn't a beautiful base. I'm just saying, I'm wondering if that was just something that I know some people don't care, but I've always had a weird thing about unpainted rocks.
Yeah, the thing for me would be there's rocks on all the other bases, so if I wanted to match them, I'd have to go back and paint them all.
Oh yeah, well then forget about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So beautiful work, Matt. Beautiful work.
Yeah. Great job.
Some of your best stuff.
Yeah, totally.
I dig the artificial grass that you cut with scissors, which is really cool.
Yeah. So it's just like I can't remember. I think I got that off Wish or something. A big roll of it that should last me a long time.
That's what I was going with them. I was doing.
I know, but you're not Jake Cherapika. You don't have it. You got to like compliment, and then the shit's in the middle.
Oh, well, I went for compliment. So
but you didn't land the second compliment.
I should have double-deckered it. No, I talked about the second compliment was the fact that the bridge is slightly slanted.
Right.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Well, I went to.
It's good to be back.
Oh yeah, Kansas City GT, right?
Yeah, Kansas City GT. I came home with a little hardware, which is always fun. Little, if I can get it in a picture. Player's choice.
Player's choice. Nice.
Yeah.
Player's choice, right? Even after the list you took.
Well, I don't know.
It was all about hobby, was it?
Well, they were just. I guess they were just focused on the paint and not on unit selection. And maybe they didn't realize that not all ogres are created equal. So
yeah, true. Can you close the picture so I can see how big?
Yeah,
I want to see your face better. There we go.
Like that. Yeah. So, well, actually, let me bring up a picture of the. I have a couple photos from the event, and awesome. I want to talk about one in particular that I mentioned to you guys about this game that just went. I had a couple games that were so one-sided either way that it was just like I don't know. It was bizarre. So I'm going to start with this one. Oops.
Was that Mr. Cox there in the background?
It sure was. So this is my third round opponent, Trent Susby. Jeremy,
yes.
This might be my new favorite best friend. Sorry.
Okay.
To do it to you. But he is pretty awesome. He is maybe like authentically the nicest person I've ever met. And that's a high bar, right? That's a high bar.
Right.
What did he play? What is he
playing?
playing?
Forces of Nature. So
okay, elementals are the
Is Hillary there tonight, Jeremy? She better get the tissues ready for after the show.
Jesus. She's preparing my feel bad meal. So after I get beaten down from you guys, I get to go have stroganoff.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny is so at this point, like I started off the weekend with Hari Capra, who if you haven't, he's a Minnesota player, really, really, really good player. Played Night Stalkers, played him to an 11-9 winning draw. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a good weekend, right? Because like you don't want to start big because big usually gets your butt kicked. But then my consolation prize was Travis Tim. And I'm like, okay, let me think. To be fair, he had the Brother Mark army, right?
Okay.
But
not his goal.
This is the man who has won best general, second place at the U.S. Masters, or I think it was third, second. I can't remember. It's ridiculous how close he's come 3 straight years.
Oh yeah, legit, dude.
And so like I have to say, like I kind of got like he kind of pumped me out a little bit, like the aura of him got me like I wasn't as aggressive as I should have been. I ended up losing. So in retrospect, it is what it is. But then I got to play Trent, and what a game! And I'm kind of like looking to the audience here because this was one of these games where I've never had this happen before, and I don't think it'll ever happen for me again. I think I played the exact game I wanted to play, and I tabled him, and I did not lose a model. Normally, I have to give up chaff, right? And like his dice were so poor, like he had like flank shots and siege breakers with like 2 hordes, and like just didn't roll for anything. And
so it wasn't just poor play.
It wasn't poor play.
Yeah. Did you pick table sides in this game?
I did. And let me point out one little thing here. So the building.
I thought you might have.
So look at this right here. See this? So this is the top of one after I've moved, and I have a horde of warriors with 3 tokens in push in a spot that his scorch wings won't fit.
Yeah, that's just silly nasty.
And then you notice my favorite guy over here. This is Madfall, Kuzlo Madfall. He's just waiting. He moved up 18 inches, and he's waiting on the next turn to see what these guys are doing, and then he's going to pounce. But it was such an amazing game. Like we basically he ended up. His big mistake was he ended up. I ended up wavering the Scorchwings with lightning bolts. This unit here, and then this unit like got 1 round of shooting, and then he got impatient and charged him in, and we ended up just like I have a warlock here that you can't see, and he just drained life the crap out of him, and like over time wore him out. Is Titan Forge. Which one, Jefferson? I don't think all of his army was 100% Mantic, except for this owl bear thing. and the Lord of the Rings. And then on my side, all of it's GW except for the Mammoth, which is from a company called Heroes of the Dark Age.
Yeah, that's a great board side advantage for you. You cut off the flank since it's pushed.
This guy, if you're
know,
talking about this guy, this is just Kuzlo and Madfall.
Just the side of that table with those two big blocking pieces of terrain. It makes them very difficult to do much like outflank play with the Scorch Wings.
Yeah,
and then you can just deploy all the way other.
Yeah, I basically like defended the city, right? And then what I just did was I moved my battle line up, and then I've had it used against me enough. These guys coming off the hill. So Thunder 1 crushing 2, you know, they do bad things when you're wounding on, you know, even defense 6 wounding on 3s.
It's just such a great example of there's more to doing well in a tournament than just bringing an army and playing well. You got to think about which side of the board is better for me. How am I going to deploy? What's the scenario? So it's just really interesting. This is like a really solid deployment.
And as I look at this, I know this has got to be turn 2 because he's already moved. I moved, he's moved, and I must be on my second turn. And so what's interesting is he placed this is a unicorn. This is a Pegasus over here. And you know what I did with the Pegasus? Absolutely nothing. I could give two shits about it. Like I just ignored it.
It's got what 3 attacks and
exactly.
1, right?
So what I did was I just left the Mammoth. I backed the Mammoth up a little bit, completely blocked its line of sight to anything that it could kill. And he charged, unfortunately, or fortunately, he took the bait, charged the Mammoth. Unsurprisingly, didn't do much to it, and then picked him up with this. Basically, the scouts came around, turned around, and then went and got the Pegasus. So yeah, it was just like one of these games where it was just bonkers, dude. Like just so bonkers where it just charged. He's like, you need a 9 twice, or here's an 11, here's a 10, you're dead. Like, and I did that
all right.
every single time.
We've heard enough of how you trashed some poor guy that you hadn't
played
before.
I know.
But talk to us about how Adam Ballard touched you.
Okay, so all right, let me set it up. So this room was there were some killers in this room, and I met a couple of them. And so this is the group that was there. Right here in the middle, this is Adam Ballard. There's probably been wanted posters around lately for him. Watch out for this guy.
Very successful. Yeah.
His Night Stalker list is undefeated. It went undefeated at Lone Wolf. It went undefeated to the Kansas CGT. First of all, he's probably. I really could say this. I think he's the best player I've ever played. Like legitimately, like
in person that you've actually had a game.
Yeah, every time I've actually played. Yeah, and he's amazing. And let's see if I got a couple more pictures. So then here's the winning shot. So he went 5-0 over the weekend, and took overall. Then we got Garrett Mercier. You know Garrett, right? From the Pacific Northwest, now out of Denver, right? Another Masters player. Took best sports.
Twilightkin. Yeah, and he took Twilightkin to that tournament.
I got a story about Twilightkin on Ogres that you guys are gonna laugh about at my friend's expense. Then we got John Becker out of Minnesota. He took best painted, and then we got Travis best general. So
what army did John Becker have that won best painted?
It was a Night Stalker army with Ogre allies.
Okay,
nice.
Because
he's got the green shirt.
Got red shirt. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Night Stalker. It turns out Night Stalkers can't take enough lightning bolt, so he had to bring in more lightning bolt with more warlocks.
Yeah, as you do.
All right, but back to all right. Let me set the stage. So after game 3, so I drew first round, I lost second round, won huge in the third game. Fourth game, I got to play Mark Cox. And it was a lot of fun. Mark Cox. It was a lot of fun. His dice were not very good, and I stomped him under my boot pretty hard. So my consolation prize for being 2 wins, a loss, and a draw was to play the person in first place. Just because it's 16 players, right? Like it just worked out that way.
It's so much harder with that amount of people.
So I'm like, all right. So I'm trying to psych myself up like Rocky. But I know it's kind of like a thing. I'm like, this is not going to go well. I mean, he beat the piss out of Destin. He's beat the piss out of everybody. He beat John Green, who won Lone Wolf. So, and he crushed 4 people. He had like a 30-point lead over second place.
And you had to.
And he already played the guy in second place. So I was like 3 points behind him. I was in third place. So I took it on the chin. And let me just tell you, like, I'm sure as Trent felt in that game as a new player, I just took his stuff off the table right there with him, dude. Like, we lined up, we're playing Salty Earth, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? So this is the strategy I took. Turns out didn't. Well,
what should I do with all my defense 6?
Well, Salty Earth, there's 7 tokens out there, right? Spread across the table.
Yeah.
And I only have like 13 drops.
And his entire army scores. Adam's entire army scores.
Yes. Every single thing in his army. Well, everything in my army scores too, right?
Yeah. Well,
but he did have a few more drops, and he has flyer. He has 3 regiments of soul
flayers.
Soul fiends. Soul flayers, right? So 2
Does he
mind
have a Void
screeches.
Lurker?
No Void Lurker. He had 3 hordes of zombies. I'll tell you right now, the most bullcrap thing in that list are the Rift Weaver guys. So they're a small base, D6 plus 6 attacks, hitting on 3s with crushing 1. Cool. Oh, they're stealthy. Oh, and they have Spell Ward Aura. Really? Oh, and they have Dread too. And they're like 150 points. It just destroyed my whole army, dude. Like, because he would just put him in combat, and it's like, and I made, in retrospect, I made the mistake when I'm fighting multiple things. I should have killed the Rift Weaver first in every case to drop that dread to give myself a chance. But all right, so I'm coming to the table playing arguably the best player in the country right now, certainly the best army. Right, this army was just built to beat the piss out of me. So what I decided was we're going to spread the tokens out, and when the tokens fell, I said, okay. I deployed so that if I won first turn, I'm killing 2 tokens on his side of the table, or in a place where most of my army's not, with Madfall and a scout unit. He's got 1 in the back corner, and I can either destroy or control the rest. And I'm going to lose 1-0. That was the plan going in. Long story short, I lost 3-0. So he won first turn, and the 2 tokens I wanted to destroy, he jumped on him. I couldn't get to him because he was all over me. He was over me from turn 1. So I mean, I lost 3-0 to him in Salty Earth, or in Salty Earth. That's the number 12 scenario, right? So, but basically, I basically deployed my whole army on the right side, except for I used the scouts and Madfall. Moved up, and he just some really cool tips from his list. He had the Trickster's 1 on Dreadfiend, which I thought was very brilliant. It's height 4. You can see over all my stuff. He didn't actually land it, but he was targeting Narmagrok every time with the Trickster's 1. I thought that was pretty smart. 3 regiments of Soul Flares. Yeah, that's not too bad. Pretty good. 2 troops of. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Adam's watching. He's
is Adam watching?
Yeah, Adam's watching. So I've got a question, and just out of interest in terms of understanding players. So what I'd like, I guess, to know from Adam now is, it's obviously kicking everyone's teeth in, and I'm assuming he's qualified for Masters already, right?
He was qualified before Lone Wolf.
Yeah.
He's the best player in the Mountain region.
Yep. So my question now for Adam is, what does he do now until Masters? Like, does he keep just trying to get reps in with this list, or does he ease off and stop kicking teeth in?
You play it as much as possible against as many hard lists as possible. That's what I guess. I don't know. We'll see what he says, but
because I mean, I assume he keeps playing it and then probably takes a version of it unless he wants to spring a surprise for Masters. But I'd be interested to know that.
So it was like the kindergarten person playing against like a senior, like college football team playing against high school. It was embarrassingly bad, but you know what? In retrospect, it's the first time I've seen that, and so I think in the future, like kill the Rift Weavers as fast as you can, because they were doing most of the work with this. I mean, all my spells are shooting on 5s because he's got Spell Ward blanketed with the 2 of them.
I think Night Stalkers are the best army in the game at the moment.
Yeah. So he's actually running, and I'm going to look it up. He's actually running Bug Eater on the first weekend of June in Omaha, Nebraska. So, and then I think that's it, right? Until Masters.
Yeah, that's what he said. So that's his.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Night Stalkers currently have all the tools, right? I just, and I don't really, I don't know. It just feels like you don't pay anything for Mind First.
It bit me in the ass a few times. I forgot that Madball has Inspiring. I'm like, oh crap! I almost got you.
Well, that Rift Weaver. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it just feels like you don't pay for it, where other armies have to invest in Inspiring, right? I feel like the units aren't expensive enough to make up for that investment that the other armies are doing. But that's just a vibe.
Well, you know what? Let's look at this because I'm going to share this real quick. This is the results from the. So here we go. And so you bring it up, Night Stalkers. So Night Stalkers won the event. Night Stalkers came in 6th and then 13th. But really, the only reason why they came in so low on 13 is because he had a really crappy paint score. Like if he would have had a painted army, he had 62 points. He would have been in the top 4 as well. So,
yeah, right.
But anyways, one of the tougher rooms that I've been in, because you think about it, Adam Ballard, Travis Tim, Masters players, Andrew Mitten, Masters player for Mountain Region, or pretty solid. John Becker has been Masters player in the past. Mark Cox has run Masters and been to and been to Masters. Garrett Mercier. All right, so this is where I want to talk about my friend Andrew Atkins and his inability to know what Twilight Kin, Glade Stalkers. What do they call them? They're not called Glade Stalkers, are they?
Yeah.
Twilight Glade Stalkers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he was thinking. But he's playing Garrett, who's playing Twilight Kin. After scouts, he gets the first turn and he just moves everything up. First turn charges. I think he lost 2 Siegebreaker hordes in one turn. Because Garrett has like 3 or 4 units of those guys, and with 12 attacks hitting on 3s, with wounding on 4s,
just swamped him.
So Andrew just moved up into range of everything and was just like coming.
Yep.
Not a great idea.
Didn't realize what was going to happen.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't take long to learn against those Glade Stalkers though, right? And the elf versions that are melee on 3s, and with elite.
I will say he did learn. He played Chris Sigler, who's Michael Sigler's dad, who ran the event, who also had Twilight Kin and a bunch of those units. He didn't do that in the last game.
Yeah, really hot. Garrett won Riddle of Steel with a room full of Masters, so Donnie travels a lot. So for a smaller tournament, that is a lot of really, really top-end talent.
Yeah, it is. So Bill wants to know about sportsmanship.
Yeah, good question.
Sportsmanship, Rob. Yeah, I don't know. 0. I think it's 1 to 3 per game. And it is. And I think top was 16 and bottom is 12. I don't know. It is what it is. These aren't like favorite. These aren't like favorite opponent votes or anything like that. These are just like at the end of the game. Did you have a great game? Did you have a good game? Did you have an okay game? So it looks like 5 games, 12 points. I don't know if I did the math.
4 out of 5 each game. Oh, 5 games, you said.
5 games. Yeah. So what is that?
All right.
Just over 2. So I got 3s and 2s from all my opponents. So. But yeah,
Garrett sent me a message and he said they said it couldn't be done with Twilight Kin, and it is a picture of his best sports trophy. And I was like, "See, Glade Stalkers are completely fine. There's nothing."
Well, to be fair,
on here.
He actually tied with Lance Hatcher, and I think he won a dice off. So.
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
So.
Yeah, well, congrats to everyone. It looks like you guys.
That was fun. It was a super fun event. Next up, we got Bug Eater in the first weekend of June. So we're super pumped about that. This month we have Blue Sea Brawl, but that's full. I think they got.
We just had Rose City this last weekend. They had
what happened
in Oregon. So 14 players, but the interesting thing is that it's 14 players that if you looked at the list, it was no one from pre-COVID. So they're about where at the numbers where they were before, a little less, but it's with a completely new group of people.
And you'd imagine some of the pre-COVIDers will come back to the fold eventually.
That's what they're hoping. But so Paul and Sean came up from Reno, and Scott came up from SoCal. And at the end of day one, it was Paul, Sean, and Scott were like the top because it's like a new group of scene, right? And you know, our region now is a little seasoned, but it's good for them too, just to play against more of that level caliber player. So Paul ended up winning with Ogres. Sean came in second with his he took a Twilightkin, and Scott had his Order of the Green Lady, and he finished. So, but they had a great time, great event. Big Dan Wright, you know, rebuilding that scene. You know, I hope to make that tournament next year. Portland is a really cool city. Lots of fun food stuff there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Blue City Brawl's coming up.
Yeah.
In the
I was just gonna say, are you going to Convict, Matt? Someone in the chat needs to know.
Oh, Adam's asked. I'm yet to start negotiations on that. I hope
funny
so.
Story about that.
Have a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old at that point. But yeah, it's Melbourne's a good place to visit, so I am actually hoping to test out the electric car and see how it goes on a
Now,
long
is
trip.
Convict like the Adepticon of Australia? Is it like your big?
No,
the biggest
no,
it's not.
No,
big?
it's literally a tournament. It used to be. It used to be a massive Warhammer
Oh, is
tournament.
CanCon the one that's the big one?
Correct.
Okay, I got
where
it.
you going to come visit me?
No, oh yeah, we're coming.
Oh, we're coming. Well, what's funny though, you say Convict. I remember 20 years ago listening to Podhammer with Jeff Carroll, and they used to lament and have all kinds of crazy stories of Convict, the events, you know, and all the broken Warhammer armies they would bring.
Yeah.
So,
well, they were kind of, they were a 100+ event previously. Now they tend to get about 20+ for this, for Kings. And it's maybe I'll do something with Andrew Goodman. So he runs it with Jeff Holland, and it's usually it's staged points. If you jump onto Direct Misfire's page, Matt Selleck did a video about it recently.
Okay.
Sweet.
So yeah, if you jump onto their Facebook page, he's put together a cool video.
Like a couple games are at this point level, and then a couple games are at this point level. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention is I got to use the new software that's been written by an American here, Tim Lonis.
How was that, Rob?
Really awesome. And here's the funny thing: in 23 minutes, I'm getting a demo because he's coded it for my event. So here's what's cool about it from a player's perspective.
Because Tim Lonis also does other stuff, right?
Yeah,
he's one of the Vanguard Rim guys, right?
War Chest Creations.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of 3D printing, a lot of laser cut stuff. But what's really cool from a player's perspective is the software doesn't ask you to do anything other than just tell me what happened in the game. So like scenario points, how many tokens did you get? It knows what scenario you played. How many tokens did you get? How many points did you kill your opponent's army? And it does everything else. And we were using it with blackjack scoring. Now I'm not using blackjack, but it basically what it allows.
But it can handle it.
Yeah. You just pre-configure it to whatever you want. You want to add in paint points a certain way, it does all of the logic. And then it has the ability to email out, post to a website, text message, the players, whatever. You can even
can players submit their own?
Yes, they do. They submit their own, and then it's corroborated based on what I said and what my opponent said, right?
Yeah, so just like tabletop.
So it's got tabletop TO, but then it's like
but better.
It's like Kings of War specific, but really it can be used for anything. I mean, you can use it for 40K if you wanted, because
he got? Sorry, you go.
No, I was gonna say it's in beta right now. It'll probably. I think if we get it used at Masters, sometime after that, it'll probably be open, and we'll start letting people like more publicly access it. But I'm excited. He's gonna walk me through it. He's taking my player pack and took my rubric and put it into the system to take all the score sheets and everything.
Wow, neato.
And I should mention he was at the event, and so we've used it at I know Mike Rossi used it at Dead of Winter. Vanguard GT used it. I know they used it up for a one day in Minnesota. They used 2 or 3 times, or maybe this is the second or third time. Second time probably at Bug Ear they're using it. So it's really great. I will say they're still working out kinks. There's still some issues. And when you have somebody like Michael Sigler, who is a 24-year-old young man only running his second event, he was able to break it.
Yeah.
So Yes.
Yep.
Speaking of war chest creations, I got my countercharge widget.
You know what makes you mad? He had ones that had acrylic sticks on the inside this weekend.
Oh man, I feel gypped.
I need to order one of those. Can you get me one of those?
Yeah, we'll get you one.
One of these?
We'll get you one.
Yeah.
We'll get you one.
Yeah.
We'll get you one. Yeah. It's pretty dope.
But what I was going to ask with that is whether he's going to end up with enough server space that anyone around the world can use it, I guess. Because,
that's the plan. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Now, one of these, we have, I love your foreshadow. We have about a 30 minute interview with him about the software that will be coming up on. It'll probably be not this Wednesday. It'll probably be the next Wednesday. They'll have the Kansas City GT content out.
Okay.
But
and I'm a big believer that if someone creates something like that, create a charge for it. You know,
that's what we're talking about.
Are tight. Like I would pay him $50 to load in my tournament pack, right, or something, or whatever, to use it for like if it was a big tournament like CanCon, right? So that I have the best software. I would happily pay for that. Sure, it's a ticket price or two, but you take it into account when you're determining the ticket price.
Well, I didn't tell you the best stuff yet. So they're integrating it with Easy Army. So when you register for the event, it'll automatically send the TO, the software. It's going to basically the software is going to collect the Army lists, and he's going to Nick Williams it. He'll be able to do data analysis about winning, losing, and all that stuff.
Awesome.
It does have a cost. It probably will have a cost eventually because text messaging isn't free. That's the one thing.
Correct.
So, but I'm telling you right now, the ability to like some old Warhammer player that doesn't really want to bring up a thing and to have it flashed across the screen. You're on table 3 playing Jeremy Duval. Like that's good stuff.
And I'm glad he's using what is essentially a Mantic product in Easy Army too, because I'm not sure if everyone knows. Easy Army pays Mantic for the right to use their stuff. So so whilst Greg gets money too, there is essentially a licensing fee paid to Mantic. So I think that's a good thing.
It's good use of intellectual property.
Yeah, and if you could combine some of those stuff, so that people everyone's using the similar format, that will be great.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, right? Like at some point, blackjack. Well, it's already in there. Like we just ran blackjack. Soft scores might have to be adjusted, but like the scoring of blackjack itself, the battle points.
And the next step from that is Mike Atkins has functionality, so all the tournament scores from every submitted all are on the Masters website.
Well, don't kid yourself. So Tim Lonis worked with Mike, and so Mike used it for Vanguard GT. So that's next too, right? Dumping out data. Results and stuff. Yep.
So that the website you can see everything.
The crazy part. Go ahead.
And we know Mike has the time. He doesn't have a day job.
The crazy part is I asked him, I said, man, you're amazing. And he's like that's not it's not his day. His day job is not software. His day job is like construction management or something, But this is a guy who runs a company that does laser cutting who built his own laser. I was like, all right. So we talk about that in the interview. I'm not going to spoil it. It's really fun. Super. Probably. I mean, he donated these for the event, right? So these are the trophies that he made, and there's a little stand that goes on it. He laser cut those for Mike. Just cool. one of the nicest guys around, and I, if you're not using his stuff, you should, and Bill, I mean, it's crazy. He as I think I'll date myself, but he's wicked smart, for those that have seen Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, he helped me get my thing and was super nice, and he saw that it had been delivered, and he messaged.
You know what? When we get Matt's, we need to get Matt's day put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was like, "Hey man, did you get it okay? Did it ship to you fine?" And I was like, "Yeah."
He also talked a lot about it, which I didn't realize is that he's bought a bunch of licenses for 3D printing, and he's now churning out armies for people, of different ranges, like Lost Kingdoms and a bunch of other ones too.
That's so nice. I'm part of the Patreon for Lost Kingdoms. God, it's good stuff.
They have a bunch of nice stuff.
So, well, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else we've got. Let me mention Kings of Memphis. We had 2 drop, so we got 2 spots available.
Oh, gee, I wonder who one of those was.
No, we already gave his spot away. That's fine. But we had some on local player that was coming with 2 players. So if anybody's in the area, we've got some heavy hitters. We got Travis Tim is signed up, Jeff O'Neill, Nathan Clevenger, Kyle Presolinsky, Dan Kamek, who's really pretty awesome from our area here.
Kyle Poole's going to be there too, right?
Kyle Poole, yeah, he's a local. So we're going to have a really.
What about the shitless wonder?
Well, he works at the store. He's not going to play. He'll hopefully help me. I
have not seen him on After Dark at all lately.
He's been, you know what? He's all about the Marvel Crisis Protocol lately.
Oh yeah, he's really into it. Yeah, I
so
know a lot of people love that game.
Turns out you get sour when you get the piss beat out of you. When people tell you to stop taking legions, and then you still
take legions,
you still take them. So this is a great question, and thank you for the topic. We absolutely do need a topic. If you could redesign an infantry kit, which kit and what would the new kit look like? So we're talking about Mantic. I'm going to say hard plastic, guys.
Yes. Oh, I know this one.
Okay. All right. So infantry kit.
Who wants to go?
Do you know what?
I'll go.
Sorry, you go, Jeremy. No,
I've said it on the show before, and I'm still sticking to it. Is I want a hard plastic sisterhood kit that makes archers, sisterhood warriors, and then it can maybe even have some of the functionality, like have a couple panthers to make some panther riders. But that's what I would want. Sisterhood hard plastic kit.
I had a conversation with Garrett this weekend, and we didn't end up recording it. But one of the things he said was he would like to see more accessibility for some of the special models that you need. And he brought up and where I'm going with it is I would like to see them make a 2-up sprue of snow foxes. Right, or anything that needs to be used that people are struggling to get, right? And to be fair, there's no other way to get a snow fox unless you buy a whole sprue, right? Yeah. So at least with the Vanguard stuff, they could at some point put those out. Huskars, I'm looking at you, right? But go ahead.
Well, you're not answering the question though, are you? That's not infantry.
All right, so I would redesign the Klansman kit so that the snow foxes could stay on there. But I would split it up. I would actually make a second sprue and maybe because you have some, don't you have some metal bits to make like the guys that throw the javelins?
Yep.
Maybe make that a kit. Maybe like the pieces to make the javelins, make that out of plastic, and maybe you put like to do 10 of those guys and 10 snow foxes. So like it's a win-win because you want to make this sprue big enough that it's worthwhile making too.
Do you know what? I am not loving them. Not that I had to put them together, but I didn't love the multi-purpose halfling kit. So I really like the models, but I think if you're going to make it multi-purpose, make it truly multi-purpose. Like they could have chucked a whole bunch of big shields in there so that you could use stalwarts and things like that. Make them and make sure there's enough arms to make various types. I don't like that they pigeonhole you into, even in the infantry, that you have to make a certain amount of rifles and a certain amount of hand weapons. That's probably
you should be able to make if you're gonna have a kit like that. You should be able to do all of one or all of a none.
Correct.
Either or.
Yep. Yeah. Correct. And like, how hard is it to chuck in 20 bigger shields so you can make stalwarts as well, and charge a bit more. Yeah. So and that applied to the cav as well, but the question is about infantry. So yeah, I actually, unfortunately, whilst I love the models, I don't love the.
I agree with Jefferson here. The only thing is I don't like the integrated bases that Ortmark have, unless I'm wrong. Does Ortmark have an integrated base, or am I thinking of War Games Atlantic?
Not sure.
Oh, Felix is correct to me. It's the javelin. It's the javelins they already have. It's the bows of the upgrade kit. So make a sprue of like upgraded thing, parts for the Klansmen that have a bunch of snow foxes on it. And if I also had to say, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think you guys have like hit on some stuff though, right? Which is one, accessibility, right? I think that was always the promise of Vanguard stuff, which was stuff released through Vanguard. It's going to be in Kings.
We would get it one day in bulk, right?
Yeah, we would get it in Kings rules wise, but we'd also get it in Kings in a way to purchase, also with additional sculpts. If there was only one sculpt in Vanguard, we would get more for Kings. Looking at you, Snow Trolls. So I think probably that's something I would say if I was Mantic and trying to learn from what I've done well and what I haven't done well is think about that when you're releasing models for multiple game systems. Be prepared to allow them to be purchased in whatever way that you need.
Another idea I have is I would probably ogres are so hot right now. They're hot. Say it, Jeremy. You got it right. They're hot.
Just so hot right now.
Yeah. So it's time to build a plastic kit, bro. Like, just give me a plastic ogre kit with the bodies, and then to make either the gunners, the boomers, the shooters, or double hand weapon or hand weapon shield, or did I say it? Shield siege breakers.
Another one that kind of, now that they don't have any options, I don't think they have options anymore. The standard salamanders don't have an option for dropping defense and having crushing 1, do they? Anymore?
Two-handed weapon salamanders?
You mean in the list?
Yeah, in the list.
I'd have to look. I think so, right?
I thought they do, yeah. I thought the Youngbloods or somebody could. I don't remember.
From just regular.
You guys call yourself Kings of War experts? You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm having a look now.
Yeah, primes can exchange for two-handed weapons.
Oh, they still can? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I never liked the two-handed version of the salamander. It's a bit clunky.
Yeah, that's a good call.
So, Jefferson's bringing up a point about the Pseudocast. It's something that I know Infinity Corvus Valley is looking at. If you want to learn more about this, Goonhammer just did a big video about it. One of the nefarious things about this, though, that is keeping some people away from it, it's a custom material. You have to buy the material from the people that buy the equipment from.
Did they have this at Adepticon? I think I saw some stuff.
Yeah, they did. And Goonhammer did like a whole video on it. So, somebody that talks about like the means of production, you buy the equipment, but you're locked into their material. And right now it's cheap, right? It's accessible. They want people to buy it. But what does the future hold? And some people are nervous about buying into an infrastructure where you're locked into one source, right? And so, but I know like Titanforge is using it. Like I said, Corvus Belly is using it for some stuff. I want to say Battlefront maybe he has even used some of it. But interesting thing, it's Goonhammer guys did a video from Adepticon. If you haven't seen it, you really should. It's for those companies that go into it. They're going to. I mean, it gives you all the great, from what I understand, it gives you all the benefits of hard plastic, but at a scale that you can afford to do in house.
Yeah, no, I heard. I saw some some people who were interested in it, but hadn't had a chance to really.
Yeah, and Ribbonstone, that's the new Kickstarter. So I don't know much about that, but yeah, I think that's the Kickstarter, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure
because we're not the experts. Luke did come to your defense, and Primes can do defense for CS2. So. Thank you. I guess we need to get you. You need to be the Aussie on the show, I guess.
I mean, and Bill had a good one too. Was like he was talking about releasing an elf scout kit.
Oh yes, bring that up too.
Yeah, that was
because you could bring up basically an elf body and then have the ability to like just customize it. Yeah. I guess like the regular elves would just be plain Jane. Sylvankin could be like more with like.
Put like a head that has a little extra leaves on. I mean, you could do lots
antlers or something. Yeah, and then Twilight Kid could be maybe give it Night Stalker type elements. Maybe
or like a ninja mask or some sort of.
Like an assassin face.
Yeah, exactly. I think you could do a lot of things there.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that would be my main thing: is think about these dual kits, but in Matt gives a fair critique, but the main thing I want to do is if I want to build an army and I'm trying to go for a Mantic army and I need a unit of something, let me buy that. Not have to buy 18 sprues. I mean, and Snow Fox is the one egregious example of it, right? But it's not the only example.
You still can't get Huskarls, right?
Yeah, there's other things and across their game systems that are a little difficult to purchase. So
when you can't. You're basically in a miniature agnostic game. You're giving free reign to someone to use something else, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's printed or another company,
it's going to be 100% something else because there's no option. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, should we? I'm reaching out to Cricky Gamers as we speak, Jeremy. So I might see if we can get them on the show sometime.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, I've been watching that a bunch. I've been watching. Tyler has some great firefight videos.
Oh yeah. By the way, big shout out if you have questions for Tyler or Kyle. tomorrow night.
Yes.
We record.
Yeah, we're recording a
firefight
firefight
questions.
episode.
Your firefight questions.
And let's say
here.
I have a special surprise episode for this Wednesday.
Oh!
And let's just say if you happen to be traveling on a roads, that those roads lead
Ollie do a new paint line.
Always back to countercharge.
That's right.
So stay tuned for this week.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah, we have old friends, new friends. We come together.
Kumbaya.
And
I was about to say the same thing.
It's great.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess we should probably call this one a night. We're coming up on top of the hour, and I know you got to get back to work, Matt. So we really appreciate you.
Great to see you,
putting
Matt.
aside,
nice to have you back.
Putting aside your patient's safety and well-being for us.
Any time. I've managed to make the what is Tuesday here and Monday night there at work now. So even after Bill said that Rob's his favorite podcaster, Jeremy and I will continue to turn up.
Well,
but,
God, I've been having to
kind
of get Rob happy with you gone. You're his prodigal son. He's just like, no one does what I want them to do.
All right, and hopefully back on the wave soon. I've got a couple of shows in the pipeline.
Awesome.
I've got a few as well, so I'm looking forward to it. This week is what is this week? Something special, maybe something special. And then we also have an Adepticon episode that's still got to be edited, I think, too, right? So we got a lot of good stuff coming.
It's a fantastic time to be alive.
Fantastic. Bill, yes, if you want to paint firefight models, be our guest. All right,
your firefight models to the test.
You want to take us out, Matt?
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, keep countercharging.
Bye. See you next week.